Welcome everyone, my name's Neil, this is the Motor Chat Show, and today we have on the show Mr. Davy Graham, who is the owner and a racer in the Patch road racing team based over there in Northern Ireland. So we're going to dig straight into all things racing and get the lowdown on the next season and obviously the last season.
Joining us today live on set, a special guest.
Today on the show, we have none other than Davy Graham, who is the owner of Patch Racing, who are a road racing team based in Northern Ireland.
How's it going, Neil?
Hey, Davy, how you doing?
Not so bad, mate. What about yourself?
Yeah, good, thank you. Got a nice picture of you in the background.
Very cool.
So, Davy Graham, welcome to the Motor Chat Show. Thanks for coming on board. I'm just going to give you a second to just intro yourself, tell the people out there who you are and what it is that you do in the world of motorcycling.
Hey folks, I am Davy Graham. I run Patch Racing. I am from Northern Ireland, as you can probably tell by the accent. I do a bit of short circuit racing, but it's mainly road racing. And I've got Ryan Strafford, who's based in Yorkshire. He's racing for the team in Thundersport at the minute. And then we've just signed Gareth Keys as well, who's an Ulster Grand Prix winner. I'm sure you've all heard of the Ulster Grand Prix. That's basically where we're at the moment.
Awesome. And how long have you been running a race team?
I think we're in our 6th year, so we're doing all right. We privateer team.
And what category of racing do you partake in? What do you actually what kind of levels? We're
in the Super Twin class on the roads, so we're running with all the top international riders like Dunlops and Lee Johnson and Ryan Farquhar's team, all those guys. So it's a decent level.
Is the season over now? 2020?
The road racing season didn't even start.
Yeah.
We had Cookstown, they run a race, but it was limited numbers and limited numbers of spectators as well.
Yeah.
But we didn't even bother going because we didn't feel it was worth our while getting the bike back from England for one non-championship race. We just let Ryan keep the bike in England. He's doing Thundersport at the moment.
Okay. Now, knowing bike racers or any kind of athletes, we're going to put you in that category, that are building up from the previous season to start a new season, how excited you get and how it builds inside you. I can only imagine how that must have hit you when you were told, like, you're not racing this year, guys. How did that affect you and your racers? What was the take home from this?
Personally,
yeah,
I got to the end of the previous season. I was looking forward to the break and into the last race. And then as soon as your last race is over, I always feel, oh crap, now it's winter time, there's no bikes. So it's kind of kicking yourself in the arse, really.
Okay.
But with the year off, I expected for myself to get fitter and have more financial backing then, with my own bank account, really.
Right.
But it's not worked out that way. Bills have still got to be paid. People are on furlough, so there's not much money about.
No.
The gyms have been shut, so I haven't been able to train properly.
Mm-hmm.
So it's not been the kind of year I expected with no racing.
So on the other side of things, it's probably given you a bit of time to kind of reflect on how you're going to run the team, how you're going to do, how to, I don't know, do some other kind of training or whatever to build up for the 2021 season, which fingers crossed will be going ahead. So are there positives that have come out of not being able to actually race?
Positives. Give my body a bit of a break, to be honest. I've had a fair few crashes over the years, big ones.
Okay.
Fair few injuries, so a year off has been all right for my body. I don't know about the mind. It's been driving me crazy, not being able to get on a bike.
Yeah.
as I'm sure it would drive you crazy not getting your bikes out.
Yep.
But as for the team, we've done all right. We've had 2 or 3 days testing at the start of the year. I think it was March or April time. Me and Garth went out around a circuit called Kirkiston over here. That was Garth's first time on the bike. Ryan has had the bike since, I think it was late April. So he's been doing all of Thundersport. And I think we're actually sitting in the championship. Second in the championship, sorry.
Nice.
Going forward, we want Ryan over here racing in the Ulster Superbike Championship, which is short circuits. And then I will do the road races in the north of the island, and Garth will do the ones in the south. So that's the plan anyway.
I'd like to take you back to when you was a young man and you got on a motorbike for the first time. I'd like to know, or I'd like the people out there to know, how did you first get into motorcycling? What was the kind of first motorbike you had? What was that experience like? Do you remember that, Davey?
My first time on a bike, I was always, well, from about 10 to maybe 15, 16, I went out on the back of my uncle's bike with him on a Fireblade. So I was always too small for his helmets as well. He's an extra large helmet. I'm only a medium. So the chin bit was up around my nose half the time, trying to hold on to him. So that was my first experience on a bike. It scared the crap out of me. But the adrenaline rush was unreal. Then my first bike, I turned 17, I got my first bike. A wee Honda CG125.
Nice.
My mates called it the Heartbeat bike. Remember that TV show Heartbeat?
Yeah. That one. Oh, the was it with the Nick something or
Yes.
Nick Berry?
Yes, Nick Barry, that's the one. That's the very one.
Okay.
So my bike was real old-fashioned.
Yeah, that's what I was saying.
And progressed onto a RS Aprilia 125.
Nice.
And then started getting into the bigger bikes then. Suzuki Bandits and on the Fireblades and all that.
Yeah, I do like a Suzuki Bandit as one of my old favourites.
Yeah, heavy big lump. I'm only 5'7", and I weighed bugger all back then, so it was hard for me to keep up.
Yeah, they are lovely bikes. Love the Suzuki Bandit. So you started off very young. You got that bug. I mean, I'm taking it that since you were like 17, 18, you've rode all the way through. Did you have any breaks? Like, did you stop?
I've always had a bike. Since I was 17, I've always had a bike in my garage.
Okay.
Whether it's been a road bike or a race bike. A hard year. I've not been on the bike apart from testing in March.
When did you start getting into racing then, Davey?
I think I was 29 when I started racing. I just turned 36 yesterday, so it's not been that long.
No. Mm-hmm.
Basically, me and my uncle would have went out and done a Christmas charity run every year with a bike club.
Yeah.
We're just raising money for kids' hospitals.
Yep.
And 2 boys in front of me were killed. They were hit by a car. So my thinking then was, bloody hell, I'm driving about like an idiot here. And if I do come off, it's going to take an ambulance a while to get there. So why not go and do a bit of short circuit racing or something, where there's an ambulance or medical staff waiting if you do come off.
Yeah.
That's how I get into racing, really.
Was it?
No previous experiences with it at all.
So it was kind of a sensible decision that if you want to ride fast, go and do it on a track.
Yes.
I think a lot of people miss that somehow. I mean, I do know people who are out on a Sunday trying to get their knees down around roundabouts in London, and it's like, yeah, I don't quite understand. I understand why they want to ride fast, but not out where Joe Public are. You're asking for trouble, aren't we? So,
at least if you're going racing, you're all going the same direction.
Yeah. Now, look, I've never done racing. I've never done a track day. I always mean to do it. What was it like the first time you get the bike, you get on a track, and someone says to you, off you go? And do you feel something extra in your kind of motorcycle riding when you're on a track, the experience, than you do as if, say, just racing on the road or riding on the road? Do you get something more out of it, or did you?
More freedom. You're not holding back as much.
Yeah.
Definitely that part of it. Weirdly, you feel safer.
Okay.
That's strange. I've taken my uncle's road bike out a couple of times since I've started racing, and I'm driving like I'm a pensioner.
Okay, that's interesting.
Yeah, I'm sure it's not the same for everyone, but just myself it was. No, that's pretty much it on that front.
Yeah, that's interesting, because I guess when you're on the track, you've got there's no walls, there's no trees, there's no cars coming towards you.
The reason I do there is.
Oh, of course it is. Yeah, because you do it right. Okay, so yeah, that is what I wanted to come on to, because there's racing on a track where you have got that freedom. You're not gonna roll into something, and the racing that you do on the road with, well, they come inches away from walls. I mean, when you started to learn how to race, did you go to a track first, or?
Yes, you have to. To get your road race license, you have to do at least 1 year on the short circuits.
Okay.
But your times also have to be within 10% or something of the winner of the racing.
Wow.
So you have to be pretty fast to get your road race license.
Wow.
I only done 1 season of short circuit racing before I got my license, but it was a steep learning curve. My very first race, I had never been on a track before I went racing. No track days or nothing like that. So I got beat in my first race. I came dead last, and I got beaten by a woman that was in her late 40s, and she completely annihilated me, and she was only 1 position ahead of me. 30 odd bikers on track, and I was dead last.
Was that something that spurred you on? Obviously, I'm guessing you're the kind of guy you're not going to take that lane down, are you?
No, definitely it wasn't good. I wasn't happy with myself, and it actually took me a couple of races. You were saying about getting your knee down.
Yeah.
It took me a couple of races to get my knee down.
Okay.
I had never had a bike crash before, so I think it was the Easter racing at Kirkuson, which is like the second or third race of the season. I got T-boned by one of the leaders. I was getting lapped, and he T-boned me and took me off, and that was the first time I had ever been off a bike. And that was in race 1. Over the lunch break, we repaired the bike and went out in the next race, and I had my knee down, and here I had my elbow down. I was going around the corners that quick then.
Nice.
It was such a change.
The bikes that you have to ride, just going on the technical side of the bike, are you limited into categories on the CC side of the bike?
For your first year of racing, or when you go to road racing?
When you go to road racing.
So when you go to road racing, you can be on a 600 or a 750. I think that's the maximum. But they're called support classes. So there's junior support, which is, what was it? It's 600s and smaller. No, sorry, that's wrong. Junior support is super twins, like 650.
Right.
400s, 125s, and Moto 3 bikes.
Okay.
Senior support then is the 600s and 750s.
What bike did you start off on the road with?
It shouldn't have been racing. It was a Yamaha Thundercat, a touring bike.
Jeez. Wow. So basically, you can kind of take anything and
Pretty
modify
much
it.
turned into a race bike, yeah. Yeah.
So who's the mechanic then? You?
No. I had bought that bike. It was already race ready.
Okay.
A fella, Stephen Morrison, who lives local to me, he done track days on it
Okay.
before he started racing. So I bought it off him fairly cheap and just went racing on it. My mechanic is my uncle. He's not really into building engines and stuff. It's more just, the basic repairs and keeping the bike going. JHS in England actually sort our engines now.
Okay.
But where was I going with this? I remember my first road race was at Kells, and on one of the straights, it's just like a motocross track. It's just all jumps. And you've heard of the road racer Derek McGee, have you?
Yep.
Yeah. So his mechanic was standing side of the road watching the race I was in, and he came into the paddock afterwards and asked me what the hell I thought I was doing riding a Yamaha Thundercat road racing. asked him what he meant by that. And he goes, "Mate, it looks going over the jumps like you're jumping a tank."
What did you say to him while making it harder for the challenge?
I couldn't say nothing. I was speechless. So just had to laugh a little bit.
Excellent. But I mean, I guess you learn from your mistakes, right? And if you don't make any mistakes, you ain't going to get any better, are you?
That's it. Yeah.
Without making stupid mistakes, but these little things teach us to, to up our game and to get better and better and better. I mean, the reason I asked about the mechanic is because I know that any race team or any guy that's sitting on a bike racing the hell out of it has got to be backed up with other people. It's such a team event, such a team effort, and you don't very often see the guys in the background that are doing the horrible oily greasy work in minutes to try and repair something as quick as they possibly can, mechanically and electrically. I mean, what does it mean to you to have like good mechanics on board to help you with this stuff? It must mean the world.
It takes so much stress off you.
Right.
It started off when I was started racing, just me and my uncle. We struggled. We really did struggle.
Yeah.
He probably worked harder in a race weekend than he did in the full weekend work because I knew nothing about working on a bike back then.
No.
Now I have my uncle Andrew, Mark Paul, a Scottish lad. He helps out. And then a fella, Anthony Stevenson, who used to race himself in England.
Okay.
He's from Nottingham. So we've all come together from different parts of the UK to just get our little team up and going. Well stocked up on staff now for the team. And then we'll have JHS, and I think they're in Bristol.
Yeah.
So they look after the bike over the winter for us, fully race prep it and rebuild the engine and everything for us.
I mean, you're going back to the mechanics side of things, like you've got to rely on that person literally with your life, haven't you, Davey? I mean, the connection you must have with somebody and them as well to want to work on your bike and do something. I know we all do things and we take chances and that we do. We're guys and we push the limits. And you're very dark there, Davey.
Right, I'm just trying to move the laptop about so I'm going to build up cushions here to set it on.
Remember, you don't want to be behind. You don't want the window at the back here because it'll blare you out completely. I don't know what the right word.
Is that any better?
Yeah, it's all right. Yeah, that's fine. Yeah, that's good. Yeah, you look handsome as ever. Yeah. So I mean, like, you probably do it without thinking in some ways because you obviously rely on these people. So, like you said, your uncle is part of your family, but I mean, you are literally, I mean, one mistake, you're putting your life in the hands of somebody who's working on your bike. I mean, that is a huge level of trust. I mean, I know you said you've been in the military, and again, you're relying on your brothers, so to speak, to absolutely have your back without question. And it must be the same kind of feeling. It's just there, isn't it?
Yeah, Well, I have had one incident before. I don't know. I don't think it was anyone's fault as such, but the Ulster Grand Prix. Do you know the track at all? Of the Ulster Grand Prix?
I don't know it well, but I know it.
There's a corner, a fast right-hand corner at the top of the hill called Wheelers,
Wheelers, yeah.
and you're hard on your front brake and into there to get down the gears. I think it's a fourth gear corner, flat pin and fourth.
Wow.
So I was coming up the hill in fifth gear, touched the brake, go down the fourth, and there was no brakes, and it was lashing down with rain. So I went into the corner with no brakes at all. And you can't really touch your back brake there because your back end will step out then. And you'll go down. So I kind of had to motocross it and just put the foot down and go around the corner. But when I got back into the paddock, we took the bike apart, and the piston from the brake caliper had actually went through the pad and was grinding on the brake disc.
Wow.
Just a bit of dirt got into it and just seized it all up. So that's the kind of thing that you have to watch out for.
when you yeah, I mean, like, I've never experienced that. You was obviously all right, no injuries or yeah, okay, cool. So you've started riding, you've got somebody behind you to look after the bike for you mechanically. Obviously you're learning as you're going along. What made you want to, you know, get into, I mean, it is a highly dangerous sport. What made you want to get into that? What made you want to do that?
Into the road racing or just racing in general?
No, into the road racing particularly.
I knew I wasn't going to be any good in short circuits. It just wasn't my thing.
Yeah.
It's more shoulder bashing, you know, rubbing is racing kind of thing. That's not for me. Road racing, yes, you're trying to beat each other, but there's a lot of respect there as well. You don't get that in short circuits. If a rider falls in a short circuit, he falls. That's it, really. But in road racing, it's like a big family in the road racing paddock. If a rider came off, you're straight round to his family to see how he is and all that kind of thing.
Yeah.
That's what I love, all that kind of thing.
Yeah. Yeah, I guess, yeah.
Road racing, it's totally different from anything else I've ever done. The adrenaline rush of it, like you're flying past hedges. As Joey Dunlap once said, there's a grey blur and a green blur. I try to stay in the grey blur.
Yeah, I can understand that. It's like before you ever race a road race, did you like walk or ride the track first just to make sure? How much preparation work would you do to understand what you're going to be racing around at, you know, max speeds? I would imagine, I mean, I don't know, but I would imagine you would do as much safety checks as possible, or do you just go around it a couple of times and go, yeah, that's fine, I'm gonna hit this as hard as I can? What's the prep like?
So nowadays, thankfully, we have like the YouTube that we can watch onboards of riders who've been there before. But generally, I would get to the track on the Thursday morning and get set up, and then I'd take my van round and I would drive, because miles you can't walk it. It's miles of track.
Yeah.
So I'd drive round 7 or 8 laps maybe.
Yeah.
And take in as much as I can and write a few notes down.
Right.
Then if you're a newcomer to the track on the first day of racing, you get on a bus or a wee coach, and a former rider like Stephen Ferguson or Michael Swan, they would take you around and explain to you different bumps, different braking points, what corners you should go in each gear, or what gear you should go in each corner at, stuff like that.
Yeah.
So that's really helpful. But nowadays that I'm not a newcomer to the events, I'd still go around by myself. I'd still watch my own onboards and read my own notes. It helps. It really does.
Even for tracks that you've been on a few times, or circuits you've already done before, you still, like, every time go and check it out. A bit like a footballer will go to the pitch and walk around and look at the pitch every single time. If he's played at Arsenal 1,000 times, it doesn't matter. He'll still go out. It's the same kind of thing, yeah? Obviously more involved.
Yeah, more so on the roads, because at short circuits, the track doesn't change that much. It might get resurfaced, but it's still going to be the same outlay. On a road, it's a public road, so anything could be happening.
Yeah.
There could be loose gravel on the side of the road somewhere that you use as a turning point. Anything.
Yeah, and it's a good point to add this in there. For anybody who doesn't understand the road racing side of things, but believe me, I'm no expert, but that's why we've got Davey here. As far as I understand it, all road racing is partaken on actual roads that are used every day by the Joe public. So as Davey just said, it's gonna be impacted by just general wear and tear. So for Harriet is 1 year, the next year could be completely different. That's it. Yep. So do they obviously have people, they close the road down the day 2 days before? What's the
road gets generally on the Friday morning. Normally we don't start there around 11 o'clock lunchtime on a Friday. So that's qualifying.
Yeah.
And then 1 or 2 races on Friday night.
Okay.
So they close the road for, I think it's 9 o'clock on a Friday morning, once everyone is able to get to work. That isn't going to the racing.
Yep.
Then on the Saturday morning, it's closed early doors as soon as they can. So that's it, yeah. Basically, the morning of racing, that's when the road closes. We'll do a quick check of the road to check there's no debris or nothing in the road, and then we'll go.
Yeah, and unlike circuit racing, unlike MotoGP or anything, you are timed, and you go at separate stages to the other competitors. That's right, yeah.
That's only the TT.
That's only on the TT.
That's a time trial, yeah.
So
no normal racing. Road racing. We're all like normal.
Okay.
Just go off in packs.
You go off in packs, and what signifies who goes where then? So when you do your qualifying.
Yeah, if you do your qualifying, it's just like a normal race grid then. The fastest goes first.
Yeah.
So say there was 30 riders on track and on road race. They'll do them in groups of 10 in grid positions.
Okay.
So the leaders go, then the second group roll up to the start line, and they go in their formation, grid formation, and then so on and so forth.
I can imagine if you're not in the first group, trying to catch the first group if you're in the second group, how hard is that?
But your times are staggered in that format.
Right.
So as soon as you cross the line, that's when your time starts.
Okay, I gotcha. So even though you're racing in your individual group, you've still got a time element to it as well.
Yeah.
Awesome.
In a matter of speaking, yeah.
and patch racing, like you said, you've been there for like 5 or 6 years now in the patch racing, and this is actually your team, isn't it, Davey?
Yes, I started this team. And the name Patch comes from a birthmark. That was my nickname in school.
Okay, all right, cool.
So yeah, Patch Racing, I started it with just me and my Uncle Andy on the wee Yamaha Thundercat.
Okay.
It was only meant to be a bit of a laugh, but it's gotten a wee bit more serious now.
Okay, I can see, yeah. It's I should imagine it's quite expensive in time and money as well.
It can be.
Yeah.
I've got Colin J. Brown, you can see on the side of the bike there. He's from Cornwall. No, sorry, he's from Devon. He'll kill me for saying that. He's from Devon. So he sponsors us. He's our title sponsor.
Oh, cool.
He bought us that bike that you see in your picture there.
Yep, okay.
Our Suzuki SV650.
Beautiful.
So I was for taking a year out, and I had a wee Kawasaki 400 back then, and I sold it. I was going to take the year out, and Colin came on board and said, "Look, I want you to keep racing."
Cool.
He bought us that bike then. Then we've got a couple of other sponsors. They keep us afloat. They keep us ticking over. But I pay the majority of the racing out of my own pocket. Yeah. And then Garth and Ryan pay their own race entries and pay for their own tires, and that's it.
And is it expensive to? I mean, you don't need to give me numbers, but I know from the past most anything to do with racing is usually expensive, even if you're using go-karts. So I can imagine it's you get to the end of the year and you're thinking, wow, it's do we keep going, or do you get to that stage? Is it well? Why are we doing it? Why, you know?
The money you could spend in a year's racing, you could buy a decent second-hand car out of it.
Right.
Just
Yeah.
put it that way.
Yeah. It's crazy what we do for our. I mean, but then again, I know guys who go fishing and spend absolute fortunes every year just
That's
fishing.
That's it.
So
I don't smoke. I don't drink.
yeah,
I don't go out anywhere really. It's race bikes. That's what I spend my money on.
awesome, man, awesome. You touched on earlier. You said you've had a few offs on the bike. You told me about that one where your brakes went on the front there.
Yeah.
You've had some nasty little crashes in your time then, Davey.
Yes, I have indeed.
Give us, for those, and is this all while racing or?
All while racing, yeah. I've never come off a road bike, thankfully.
Okay. So, like, take us through one. I mean, can you do that? Are you?
There's one I really shouldn't mention. It came at Tandragee road races and involved a car on the track.
A car?
A car came onto the track.
Wow.
Why?
Why?
Apparently, the fella in the car was elderly and was ill. And it was an automatic, and he knocked it into drive mode. And it came out through a metal fence and was straight in my vision. I couldn't go anywhere. So that happened. My right knee is mangled. Ligaments and stuff were torn, and that's a mess. I can't play football anymore, which I miss.
Yeah.
The bike was destroyed. The only thing we could save from the bike was the engine. That says a lot about that crash.
Well, that's the other dynamic of racing motorbikes is you can totally wipe out your product in 1 second, or less than a second. It's gone. So everything you've spent, all the thousands of pounds, can be gone in an instant, I guess.
That's it. It costs a fortune.
Have you had any lucky escapes? So you've been racing and, you've just something by the hand of God or whatever, you've just missed a crash. Someone slid by you, Have you ever been close?
I've seen 2 people killed at the Ulster Grand Prix.
Wow.
That was tough. That was a fast corner. I can't go into details about it for their families, but you see things like that. You see people going through hedges or clipping walls and stuff while you're road racing.
Yeah.
Thankfully, nothing like that has happened to me.
Yeah.
I've had a wall or into a field. I've only had that one at Tandragee. But I've had a fairly big crash on a short circuit race. 2016, I think it was, at the Sunflower races, my birthday weekend. And I ended up in hospital. I was out cold for I'm told about an hour. At 120 mile an hour, left hand turn, first corner. And I lost the front end. And I'm told it went straight up in the air, straight down onto my head.
Jesus.
So I broke a load of bones then. And I was actually, I'm partially blind in the top of my right eye. And I was deaf in my left ear for a long time as well because of it.
Davey, you're smiling while you say this.
Because I came out of it.
It's like you're cheating death, man. I mean, I know we all take, like, I mean, it's got to be the champion road racers. It's just got to be the most fearless people. Are they fearless or stupid? I mean that with respect. Or ignorant. I don't mean to offend any because I have the utmost of respect, but
no offense taken.
Surely you've got to. I mean, I would just be thinking of my kids and my wife, and I it like, is it bravery or stupidity? With respect.
I do get told about this at times. Am I being brave or am I being stupid? And I say, no, it's stupidity. Why would anyone get onto a motorcycle and fire their bodies down the road
Yeah.
100+ mile an hour?
Yeah.
But it's an adrenaline rush. It's all about the adrenaline.
Oh, it must be just so great to hit that corner at 100 mile an hour and zoom around there, and like, it just must be such a great feeling. That to me is a natural high.
You could go into a corner 100+ mile an hour and you're absolutely bricking it. In fact, you're probably bricking it most of the race at a road race.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. But you're trying not to think of it. It's only when you come into the paddock again, you can really enjoy what you've just done. You get such a high from that. If that makes any sense.
So I guess like when you're on the bike and you're, performing at that level, you're kind of almost like in a meditative state and you're trying to block out these negative things and just do the job.
Yeah, you can't really think about the dangers of it or you will crash. You have to be concentrating 100% all the time.
Have you had anybody said to you ever, like, I'm not feeling it today, and yet they race and something does happen?
No, I've never personally had that. I'm sure it does happen.
Yeah.
But no, I've never felt that, or I've never had anyone say it to me.
Have you?
I do personally get days where
Yeah.
I'm buzzing to go racing, but when it's time for me to go out,
Yeah.
I'm like, I'm not feeling this at all. I'm not feeling, I don't feel fast today.
Okay.
And then you do really crap. But I've never had anyone say that to me and crash before.
We said like you've had some accidents and you've got some injuries and you can't go to the gym at the moment to do your kind of physical training. Is there any kind of mental training that you do?
Not personally, no.
No?
I'm a lazy trainer. So no.
Oh,
yeah. Even when I was younger, football and stuff, I hated training. But no, I personally don't do anything like that. I do when you're sitting on the grid, you go into your warm-up lap, and you come around, you're sitting on the grid for maybe 5 minutes before you can go.
Yep.
I do sit and visualize. I don't talk to my team at all. After when I come back in, I do sit and visualize where I'm going, where I need to brake and stuff.
Right.
But,
yeah.
But prior to getting on the bike, I don't.
Yeah. There you go. What about video games? Do they help?
Do you know what? I've played the TT game,
Right.
on the PlayStation, and I've done the Ulster Grand Prix. Like, I've done all the tracks that I actually race on, and keep crashing. I just can't stay upright. I will play different video games to keep the mind sharp, like Call of Duty and stuff like that. What is good test, in a gym in Belfast called Spartan Fitness.
Yeah, I've heard of it.
The wall with all the different dots on them, colored
Yeah.
dots, they light up and you've got to touch them and stuff. They've got that, which is brilliant. It's good for your reactions.
Whereabouts does patch racing sit at the moment in the world of racing? What are you moving up to? And kind of what are your goals, Davey? Where do you want to take patch racing, both short term and long term?
Currently, we are only a small privateer team.
Sure.
With not much backing. We've got one bike between 3 riders, which isn't ideal. So we're in 3 different championships on the one bike, which is tough on the engine. So it needs a good doing over the winter and service quite a lot. So that takes up quite a lot of money with filters and oil and bits and bobs that are needed.
Yeah.
In the short term, I want to be pushing for a championship, whether that be with Ryan or Garth on board. It won't be with me. I'm not fast enough. I know that I'm too old as well. But the younger guys like Ryan and Garth, I'd love to get them pushing for a championship like Ryan is currently doing.
Okay.
Second in the Super Twins at Thundersport GB. The final races this weekend at Cadwell. Long term, I want to be retiring from racing myself. My end goal is to have younger lads coming through, maybe like a little academy or something, get younger fellas into racing.
Awesome.
Just can't afford to do it themselves or don't know what they're doing. They need guidance. So that's the long term for the team.
That's good. I like that you're you've got a very realistic outlook, but you're also giving back to the kind of community to help people coming through. That's awesome.
Yeah, it's something I never had when I started out racing, so I know how
Yeah.
tough it can be.
Well, I was going to say, Davey, like, surely if you're starting to learn racing at 10 years old, 11 years old or younger, getting on two wheels, and surely that a lot of the guys that have been racing since they were very wee kids are going to be ahead of somebody who starts in their 20s or later.
They have all their racing made up for them already. You're like a sponge when you're younger. You can take everything on board more.
Yeah.
Was it to say it's hard to teach an old dog new tricks?
Yeah.
That is realistic, especially in racing.
Yeah, and when you're younger, you can bounce back from accidents very, very quickly, the majority of them, and you just brush them off, don't you?
No fear when you're younger either.
Yeah.
I might been out 2 or 3 years ago at a short circuit race, and all these young kids on the same bike as me just flying past me in corners because no fear. Whereas I'm holding back because I know the damage that can be done.
Yeah, that must affect you big. Well, it does. I know it does. As you get older, you don't want to put yourself at that much risk. But no, that's good. I mean, building up an academy, I guess, is that's a really good goal to go. And then you may, a bit like a fight stables or something like that. You'll cultivate people coming through, and you'll be associated with winners, in the future as well. It could go on for a very, very long time till you're a very old man.
Well, I had a fella, Stephen Smith, racing for me 2 years ago. He had never raced before. I brought him in. He had his own bike, but I gave him guidance and showed him what to do and what not to do in racing. And he rode with me for a year, and now he's signed for Wilson Craig Honda.
Okay.
Straight for them.
Yeah.
Highly big team.
Yeah.
So I'm buzzing for him now.
Awesome.
I'm already on that stage of having a rider progress for me.
But you must get a lot of guys that fall by the wayside as well. It's just like, cost and time. They must lose a lot of good people as well.
Yeah, there's been 2 or 3. They do still dabble in bikes, but they don't race anymore.
Yeah.
A fella, Ashley, who was actually quite fast. He just didn't have any confidence. He still does track days, and he's actually getting faster now with doing track days as well. But he just doesn't race anymore. Don't know why that's a financial thing or just lost interest in racing, but
yeah,
it's a shame because he could have been good.
Well, yeah, the one that got away, eh?
Yeah, definitely.
So what about Mrs. Graham? Is she? There's no Miss.
Friend.
Huh?
A girlfriend.
Oh, a girlfriend. Well, so how's your girlfriend about your racing? Do you mind?
She seems to like the bikes, yeah.
Okay.
She's not actually been to a race yet. This is all fairly new. So she's never been to see me race yet. So we'll cross that bridge in 2021, hopefully.
When does the season kick off?
Well, it's due to kick off in, I think it's April, late April.
Yeah.
We've got the provisional dates out. I did see them. I didn't really take it on board because I personally don't think anything will happen at the minute with the way the country's going.
If it does kick off, how many races are there?
I think there's 10 or 11 road races. That's not including the TT or the Ulster Grand Prix or anything like that. That's just national road races.
Okay.
We should be involved in most of them.
Okay.
Normally do a full season because there's too many races bunched up together.
Yeah.
Too expensive.
Yeah.
What's it like?
What's it like every couple of weeks, every 2 weeks, or every week? Some of them.
Times in the season, like the first 2 races are back-to-back weekends.
Yeah.
That's maybe £400 or £500 a weekend.
Yeah, man.
Just fees and fuel and that's not including tires.
Commodities that you go through during a race day that I mean, the tires are useless afterwards, aren't they? I mean, spending that kind of money out, and I guess without your sponsors, that would just make life very, very difficult. With
tires, thankfully, in road racing, you don't use them that much because you're not in the tire constantly.
Okay.
It's not that bad. Short circuits, you would use a hell of a lot of tires.
Okay.
Fuel, you use quite a lot of fuel, especially the big races like Tandragee or the Ulster Grand Prix. General repairs.
Yeah.
Servicing the bike, oil, filters,
brake
fluid. You're constantly changing your brake fluid.
Right. Okay.
Yeah. I do that every meeting near enough.
Why is that? Just to correct pressures and things, or
Yeah,
just
to make sure you're not changing the full thing of fluid, but you're topping it up constantly.
right? Okay.
You've always got to have your brakes sharp.
Mm.
You can't get spongy whatsoever.
No, especially not after that one experience you had before.
Yeah, definitely not.
For people that have never done any road racing before, young guys or older guys, and they wanna have a go, how would you encourage them to start doing a bit of racing? Would you just say, take your bike to the local track and, start that way? Or would you say, go out and buy yourself just a race bike so that you can put it in a van and take it over there and just practice racing? How would you get somebody to kind of start to enjoy it more than taking it seriously at first?
Well, if they wanted to go on track, not talking about road racing, you can't do that straight away, but to go on track, I just say that just go and buy a bike. Nothing too expensive.
Yeah.
You come off it. You don't want to be repairing an expensive bike, an old Honda or something like that, old Steely. Just go out, do track days, take your time, go into it slowly. Don't be thinking you're Valentino Rossi in the first few laps. Build yourself up, build your confidence up, and you get all your racing pedigree comes through then. And then you can start taking it to the next level.
Yeah.
Start going racing, wee clubman's races.
So you join a small club.
Yep.
Okay.
Take it slowly. Don't go into the deep end straight away. Do nothing for your confidence, and you just end up going backwards.
This I would imagine is over a couple of years.
It can be. I done it the route I've just told you not to do.
Yeah.
And then the deep end.
Yeah.
As I said earlier in the chat, a year later I was road racing. So that's not what you want to be doing. You want to build yourself up slowly. And
Why are you so driven to do that so quick, Davey? What
I wasn't getting any younger.
time?
I was 29 or so when I started racing,
Okay.
which is a bit late in the game.
Yeah.
So I wanted to get as much in as quick as possible.
Yeah, I can understand that. Yeah. Why you've got it in you, use it now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I didn't even plan to be racing this long either.
But you're gonna do 21.
In 2021, yeah. Hopefully, if it comes into fruition for us, but
Yeah.
we'll see. After that, I'll just take it on a yearly basis for myself racing, but the team will still continue no matter what.
So where can you build it? I mean, like to do the Isle of Man TT and stuff.
You have to do so many road races to gain your island license, but you can't go straight to TT unless you're winning championships or something. Normally, you would start off in the Manx, like the Junior Manx and the Senior Manx Grand Prix.
Okay. Yeah.
I've not done one of those. It's too expensive. You could
Really?
be spending
What,
two or
just to
three
enter?
grand just for the week.
How much?
2 or 3 grand just for that 1 week or 2 weeks that you're there. It's just too expensive. I can't afford it. So I would love to do it, but
Yeah.
just can't afford to. So after you've done the Manx, then you can naturally progress to the TT if you're fast enough. I was meant to make my debut this year at the Northwest 200.
Okay.
I went on the newcomers week and stuff. You've got to do a week with Steve Plater and boys like that. Go around the track and learn it and do seminars and stuff. But then the racing get cancelled just after it was all over the news who all the newcomers were.
But it sounds like for an ordinary working class lad, who's bringing themselves up in skill and started a race team, and you're gradually moving up and up. Not necessarily yourself, but anybody. Is money a factor to whether or not you're going to be racing at the Isle of Man TT over skill?
Very much so. Yeah, unless one of the big teams take a chance on you and sign you up to race their bikes, you still do have to bring sponsorship to the table. But I'd say it wouldn't be as much as running your own team and paying your own bills, get your own ferry and stuff over there.
It's crazy, isn't it, to think that there could be some talent out there that could be a world champion, and yet they can't afford it.
Well, my best mate, I'm sure you won't mind me telling you, David Hare, he's a multiple Irish champion in short circuits. He's done the Northwest 200, he was in the top 10. His only ever road race.
Yeah.
And he's beaten some of the top names.
Mm.
And he doesn't race anymore. And he's only just turned 30, 31.
Wow.
He's actually working for the KTM MotoGP team now, testing their bikes.
Like anything, is there an element of luck to get into the top then? The right place at the right time with the right people?
The right time.
Yeah.
And yeah.
It's
You
like
have
that.
fast though. That's the way it happens, isn't it?
I think it does, my friend. And I think the trouble is you reach an age when you understand that. But when you're younger, you can't. You just got all this energy that you want to, and you're good, and you think that you should be there, but it ain't going to happen, which is sad.
It's a knock on the chin, isn't it? But you just got to get on with it.
It's life, isn't it, man? It's life. So, what do you want to say to your fans out there for the 2021? And obviously 2020, you've been building up. So you've probably got some great people that support you and, you know, look forward to your races. They're on your Facebook pages. And is there anything you want to say out to your fans for getting ready for the next year? Anything, any exciting news or anything that's coming up?
If the racing goes ahead, it's going to be a good one for Patch Racing. I'd like to think we're pushing at the front end of the Ulster Superbikes with Ryan,
awesome,
myself, and Garth. We'll do everything we can to stay with the front runners in the roads. Thanks for your support over the year. I know it's been a horrible year for everyone. But hopefully we'll see you in 2021. Fingers crossed.
Sounds like Patch Racing are going the right way to me. It's got your head screwed on. You've got the right people. You've got the bike. You've got the sponsors. It's all going the right kind of way. And I think you attract more as you're going along if you're that positive, you know.
Well, we are a small privateer team with small backing, sponsorship wise.
Yeah.
So if anyone wants to come on board, whether that's in the Club 30 that we'll have for all the race supporters, or more financial backing as a sponsor, main sponsor, come on ahead.
Yeah.
Just get in touch.
So in the world of motorcycling, if you become a sponsor, what would you get from it? What would I get from it as a sponsor if I was going to inject a few grand into the team?
Well, generally, we're a small team. We can't give you anything on the world stage or the international stage, but
no.
We've got all our social media that you would be mentioned in interviews and all our social media posts.
Yeah.
Your logo or your name would be on the bike, on team clothing.
Yeah.
And I'd get your name out there as much as possible.
Absolutely. So your current sponsor, I know you said earlier, but if you could just, do you want to mention your sponsor on here now?
Yes, Colin Brown. He's the main man.
Colin Brown?
Colin J. Brown, yeah.
Colin J. Brown.
He keeps us floating. He's a man.
Awesome.
Lovely fella as well.
Okay, and he's a man or is he a business?
He's a man,
okay.
But he manages a construction company.
Okay, awesome.
He's down as Colin J. Brown Construction on the bike.
Colin J. Brown Construction. Okay, so we want to say to Colin J. Brown Construction, thank you for sponsoring Patch Racing, because they've got awesome things coming up, and your help is helping them to progress this system. I mean, it's awesome. Very
much so. And he comes over and watches us too, a couple of times a year.
That's brilliant. That's brilliant. We people like that giving back to the community into something they love. For me, that's what it's all about. And if there's more of us that get together, more people get together and support, the kind of things you're doing, the world's going to be just a lovelier place. Let's face it.
Let's hope so.
Of course it will. Of course it will. So thanks for coming on board, Davy. Have you got any last things you want to say to everybody before you go?
Watch this space.
Watch this space. Patch Racing. Watch them, because good things are coming. What's the first race of 2021?
So I think it's either going to be a short circuit race to get up to scratch at Easter, or it'll be the Cookstown 100 road races in late April. And
that's going to be on TV?
No, it'll not be live on TV, but there will be highlights.
Okay.
On BBC Northern Ireland or something like that.
Okay, so we can do it that way, or we can find it online through the internet, so we can
Yeah,
watch.
it'll be on the BBC website anyway. Yeah.
It's on the BBC website. Okay, awesome. Obviously, you got your Facebook page, which is Patch Racing.
Patch Racing.
Okay.
There's Twitter for Patch Racing at Patch Racing handle. Instagram.
Instagram as well. Okay, so anybody wants to check out what Patch Racing are doing, following a real down-to-earth team to find out the nitty-gritty, all about what it's like to race bikes, because it's not just what you see, the nice bits, yeah, zooming down the road at 100 mile an hour. It's everything else that goes into it, and
background work.
yeah, all the background work. It's really a lesson in life, to be honest with you. I mean, it's incredible the amount you have to do. But there you go. So, Davey, thanks very much for coming on board. I wish you all the best, sir. I hope everything starts building nicely up towards your next season. Hopefully, like I said, I'll get to interview you again in the middle of next season. So May, June, maybe next summer. We'll see.
Sounds like a plan.
Sounds like a plan. And that's it, really. I look forward to talking to your other guys. Maybe we can get them on and we can do a quick interview with them, and they can say nice things about you or not. And that's it, Davey. Thanks very much, sir. Take care.
Take it easy.
You too. Enjoy the rest of your day, dude. Take care.
All right, take it easy.
Another really awesome interview for the Motor Chat show. It was really, really good to see and speak to Davey. It's the first time I've ever really spoken to him, and that's him behind us on the bike. And you know, he's doing some great stuff in the world of motorcycle racing. And like, honestly, how these guys do what they do on a motorcycle is incredible. It is absolutely incredible. I can tell you, the speeds, the adrenaline, the sleight of hand, the quickness, the speed of thought, you know, they take it for granted. They ride these bikes at super fast speeds. They take it for granted, but believe you me, it is incredible what they do and how they do it. And I wish him all the best of luck. It's sad that the 2020 season went the way it did, but that's the way of the world at the moment. Hopefully they're going to rebuild up to 2021. If anybody wants to sponsor, you know, I'm sure they will take on board as little or as much as they possibly can. This stuff is expensive. And like you heard say during the interview, you know, if you've got the money, you can keep in the game a little bit more. So it really helps. But even just engaging and watching this stuff and just getting to know these people, really, it's really endearing to get to know the people behind the machines, because you just see them sitting on this bike racing at hundreds of miles an hour across streets. Racing on a track is hard enough, but racing through streets, and it's like the level that they have to go to build up to compete in something like the Manx Grand Prix or the Isle of Man TT is pretty incredible, to be honest with you. But it sounds like Patch Racing are going to be moving up eventually into becoming like mentors and training up youngsters to become racers, to look after them, to give them good support, to make sure that they are kept safe and well, and to give them the skills to be able to, you know, entertain us at the end of the day. That's what they want to do. They're entertaining and they're pushing the boundaries. And if we can all get behind them, that would be a great thing. All right, guys. Thanks for watching. I wish you well wherever you are. Ride safe. Remember, there's never a wrong way, not on a motorcycle. Take care, guys. See you next time. Look after each other. Take care. Bye.